We will be dealing with some of the basic questions related to tort law for enlightening our knowledge in the subject of law. So, without wasting any time, let's start with it. The first question is, why is defamation a tort? The options are A. Individuals have the right to be free from bodily harm. B. Individuals have the right to conduct business without interference. C. Individuals have the right to own property. Or D. Individuals have the right to enjoy a good reputation. The correct answer to this question is option D. That means every individual have the right to enjoy a good reputation. The next question is, what does defamation involves? Options are A. Using a weapon. B. At least 5 people to be present. C. A contract. Or D. Making false statement about someone. The correct answer to this question is option D, that is making false statement about someone. The next question is, a loud bass beat can be heard through an apartment wall at midnight. Then it can be classified as which of the following? Options are A. Nuisance, B. Trespass, C. Interference with contractual relations, or D. Conversion. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is the above is an example of nuisance. The next question is, which of the following is an example of trespass? The options are A. Ram walks in front of Raj's house, staying on a sidewalk. B. Joy hunts on Ram's land without Ram's permission. While there, Joy shoots one of the Ram's cows, taking a cow to be a deer. Ram sells his cows to make a living. C. Josh borrows Luke's car after Josh asks Luke to run to the store to pick up some milk. Or D. Lisa walks into Heather's house, who has invited her for lunch. The correct answer to this question is option B, that is, Joy hunts on Ram's land without Ram's permission. While there, Joy shoots one of the Ram's cows, mistaking the cow for a deer. Ram sells his cows to make a living. Is a perfect example of trespass. The next question is, what is the main element differentiates the crime of battery from tort of battery? Options are A. In a criminal battery, 2 or more people must be present. B. In a criminal battery, a person is actually injured. In a tort battery, the person is not injured, hurt. C. The unwanted touch. That is, we have a right to be free from bodily harm. Or D. There is no tort of battery. All batteries are crime. The correct answer to this question is option C. That is, the unwanted touch, which means that we have a right to be free from bodily harm, differentiates the crime of battery from the tort of battery. The next question is, for which damage compensation is provided in the law of torts? The options are A. Unliquidated damages, B. Liquidated damages, C. Both A and B, or D. Neither A nor B. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is, for the compensation that is given in the tort are of unliquidated damages. Unliquidated damages means the damage which can't be determined at a first sight. Next question is, what does the maxim injuria sine damnum means? The options are A. Damage without injury, B. Injury without damage, C. Injury is damage, or D. None of the above. The correct answer to this question is option B, that is injury without damage. This is the meaning of injuria sine damnum. Next question is, damnum sine injuria means which of the following? Options are A. Damage without injury, B. Injury without damage, C. Injury is damage, or D. None of the above. The correct answer to this question is Option E, that means damage without injury, is the correct meaning of dominance and injury. The next question is, why is the reasonable person test used to determine breach of duty in a negligence case? The options are A, because each tort case is quite similar. B, because negligence involves being reasonable. C, because breach of duty occurs when a person does not exercise the degree of care that a reasonable person would be in the same situation. Or D, because only reasonable persons are involved in the breaches of duty. The correct answer to this question is option C, that is, because of a breach of duty occurs when a person does not exercise the degree of care that a reasonable person would in the same situation. Therefore, the reasonable person test is used to determine the breach of duty in negligence case. The next question is, which one of the following is an essential element of tort? The options are A, consent of parties, C, intention of the wrongdoer, C, motive, or D, none of the above. The correct answer to this question is option C, that means the motive is an essential element of tort. The next question is, the principle on which the question is based on is that a master is liable for the acts committed by his servant in the course of employment. Now let's see the situation. Sanjay is a driver working in a Brook Bond and Company. One day, the manager asked him to drop a customer at the airport and get back at the earliest. On his way back from the airport, he happened to see his fiancée Ruhina waiting for a bus to go home. He ordered to drop her at home, which had happened to be close to his office. She got into the car, and soon thereafter, the car somersaulted due to negligence to Sanjay. Ruhina was thrown out of the car and suffered multiple injuries. She seeks compensation from Brookbond and Company. Now, what will be the correct answer amongst the following? The options are A, Brookbond and Company shall be liable because Sanjay was in course of employment at the time of accident. B, Brookbond and Company shall not be liable because Sanjay was not in course of employment, took Rohina inside the car. C, Rohina got into the car at her own risk and therefore she cannot sue anybody. Or D, none of the above. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is, Brookbond and Company shall be liable because the Sanjay was in a course of employment at the time of accident. The next question is based on the principle that in a civil action for defamation, the truth of defamatory matter is an absolute defense. However, the burden of proving truth is on the defendant, and he is liable if he does not successfully discharge this burden. Now let's consider the facts of the case. D, who is the editor of a local weekly, published a series of articles mentioning that P, who was a government servant, issued false certificate, accepting bribe, adopting corrupt and illegal means to mint money, and was a mischievous monger. B, P brought a civil action against D, who could not prove the fact published by him. Under the circumstances, which of the following derivation is correct? The options are A, D would be liable since he could not prove the facts published by him. B, D would not be liable as such an action could curtail the rights of the expression and the speech of press. C, D would not be liable as the media could publish anything. Or D, none of the above. The correct answer to this question is option A, that is, D would be liable since he could not prove the facts published by him. The next question is based on the principle that the violation of legal right is not actionable in a court of law if the interference with the rights of another person is not unlawful or unauthorized, but a necessary consequence of the exercise of the defendant's own lawful right, no action will lie. So, in the light of the above principle, now let's consider the following facts. There was an established school in a particular locality. Subsequently, a new school was set up in the same locality which charged lower fees, on account of which people started patronizing the new school. Because of the competition, established school has to reduce its fees. The established school filed a case against new school saying that the new school has caused its financial loss and has claimed compensation. Which of the following derivation is correct? The options are A. Since no legal right of established school has been violated, therefore no such compensation could be granted. B. Since damage is caused to established school, therefore it should be awarded compensation. C. Established schools should be awarded compensation as opening of a school in competition is not good. Or D. No compensation could be granted. No reduction in fees is good for the public. The correct answer to this question is option A. That means since no legal right of established school has been violated, therefore no such compensation could be granted. The next question is based on the following principle. A person has no legal remedy for an injury caused by an act to which he has consented. In the light of the above, the facts are following are a cricket enthusiast purchases a ticket to watch a T20 match organized by the IPL. During the match, a ball struck for 6 hits are on his body and injures him. He sues Apple IPL for the compensation for remedial expenses. Which of the following derivation is correct? The options are A. R should be compensated as he purchased the ticket to get entertained and not to get injured. B. R would fail in his action as he voluntarily exposed himself to the risk. C. Apple would be liable as it did not ensure that the spectators were protected from the risk of such injuries. Or D. None of the above. The correct answer to this question is option B. That is, R would fail in his action as he voluntarily exposed himself to the risk.